Well, you might be wondering why this video is late today, and also more horizontal than usual. Let me tell you a little story. I was bleeding all over myself today. Something I haven't mentioned before on this channel, but I've talked about on my radio show, is that I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disorder, which pretty much means my body is confused and thinks that there's bad foreign attackers in my body, but in fact is just drunkenly stumbling around and attacking my own joints. So, in addition to making my hands be really bad at activities like gripping small objects like doorknobs or pens or pretty much anything, seriously, you just really have to ask anybody who's ever lived downstairs from me, and I'm pretty sure they'll confirm I'm really terrible at gripping objects. Sometimes, in addition to making me bad at gripping small objects that a toddler could pick up, it also makes me feel like I got run over by a truck. You know that feeling when you have a cold and you're just really, really tired? And you're like inexplicably tired. And it's because your body is really, really busy fighting off infections. Well, that's what happens to me sometimes, except that my little immune system is busy fighting other parts of my body. Not an infection, just my own joints. And then by the time they're done, everyone's tired. The other joints, my immune system, me. They're kind of like a worker who didn't get assigned enough work, so they just decided to work overtime anyway, except they stayed late and they started polishing all the equipment at work, but they used a bunch of corrosives and actually ended up destroying the equipment. I pretty much have over-eager, misdirected immune system, just destroying the equipment that is my joints. As I mentioned before, I'm a workaholic, which means I have an unhealthy relationship with work. And that means that even when I'm experiencing a so-called flare, I can't actually make quotes with my hands. They look like claws. Thanks, alright. That's also just, I want you to see what the back of this thumbs up look like. Looks pretty normal from there. Then you discover that that's the full back. Yeah. Even though the loving advice that I would give a friend that's experiencing this is take time. Your body needs to heal. You have to realize you're not a fully healthy person and you can't always go at 100 miles per hour. What I do is I don't listen to any good advice and I stress myself out and try to work through it. And then I get more stressed out because it's harder to work through it. And stress, as it turns out, makes nearly all health conditions worse, and rheumatoid arthritis is included. So yay! And before you ask, no, yoga and a leek soy fun-free diet and acupuncture is not gonna cure me. I know I'm talking about health conditions on the internet, so I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of opinions from people, but as much as those things might help, the things that have helped the most are, in fact, the things that have come from Western medicine for me. So, I spend $800 a week on this shot, and this shot gets rid of most of my symptoms. Well, I just tossed $800 onto the ground. Let's get back to why I'm on this couch. I'm frustrated because this morning I started having a flare-up last night and I couldn't tell if it was a cold or not. And I was working on the video this morning and I was already feeling like crap because I was dealing with this flare. And as I was filming, I kept feeling like I had, you know, snot running out of my nose and I kept just wiping it on my sleeves and I wasn't paying a lot of attention. And then about 5 minutes later, I looked down at my sleeves and my hands, and I realized that it wasn't snot. They were covered in blood, and I was gushing blood out of my nose. There won't be a lot more blood talk. But I've not had a nosebleed since probably before elementary school. This wasn't a normal thing, let alone to get one just out of seemingly nowhere. And it was coming pretty steady, so at first I consulted Dr. Google, who of course said I had childhood leukemia and was going to die instantly, which is what happens every time. Oh my gosh. My cat is trying to play with the shot I put on the floor. That is a very expensive cat toy kitten. So, Dr. Google gets me into a lather, and I still have this nosebleed. So I call the nurse line, and the nurse walks me through a bunch of things, teaches me how to stop the nosebleed. And it took like half an hour for it to stop. And then by the end of that, not only am I covered in blood, I'm pretty lightheaded because at this point I've lost like almost a cup of blood. So I end up having to lay horizontal on my floor. And my big concern is that I work from home most days of the week and I don't have to be anywhere for 2 more days. And I'm alone in this apartment for the next 10 days. So I was like, what if I pass out and hit my head and I die and my cat eats me and no one even finds out? Especially because I don't really answer my text messages in a timely manner, so people wouldn't really be worried about it. The reason I'm on the couch is because I tried to push myself too hard and I bled all over myself trying to get a video out. And I still feel like crap all day, and I'm definitely not going to try any fancy editing on this video, or putting on makeup, or being fully vertical. This is honestly a lot already. I think one of the most frustrating things about working with chronic illness, especially one like I have, is that I generally appear very healthy, and people are like, you're young, and you ride bikes, and you make a lot of stuff. And everyone mostly puts their highlight reel out online. And in addition to wanting to make sure to get out a video this Monday, because I said I was going to do it every Monday this year, I also thought, you know, maybe I should show what it's really like. I have a mostly invisible illness, and a lot of people don't know that I'm sick and that this is something I'm always dealing with. And even I tend to forget that I'm dealing with it a lot of the time, but it's there. It's ever present. I am dealing with it. And pretty much the worst advice I have is keep pushing and try to work through it and don't give yourself any downtime, but I do that to myself all the time. You just can't plan for it sometimes. You don't know always when the bad days are gonna come and when you're gonna get a flare-up or when you're gonna have a gallon of blood come out of your nose from nowhere. And obviously, I'm incredibly privileged. I've made a job where I work for myself and I work from home several days a week. And you know, I don't get sick time, but also I totally could spend the rest of the day today working on the couch. And I don't have to ask anyone for permission, and I only really need to be vertical a couple days a week. But also, I am my own boss. And chronic illness or not, if your boss is someone who's really focused on results like me, she can really crack the whip. I'm not sure what the lesson of this video is. I think it is, don't be like Lillian. You know, take time when you need it. And sometimes you just have to do the best you can and make accommodations where you can. And sometimes you have to shoot from your couch in a horizontal position. Well, I hope that was a fun lesson. And if you want to see more content like this, but more vertical, you can click on my face to subscribe. If you want to see last week's video, you can click the box down there. And if you want to listen to my radio show, which it doesn't matter what position I'm in when I record, you can find the link down there. Stay safe, stay hydrated, take care of yourself. Bye.